Hi everyone, this is Evelina, life coach for immigrants, and today I have with me a very special guest, Wasim Naboulsi. Wasim is originally from Syria. He's a very successful immigrant and owner of many businesses in St. Pete, Clearwater area. Wasim, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we will start as I usually start with my guests. I'm just going to ask you, when did you come? I already mentioned that you're from Syria, but tell us, when did you come to the States? How old were you?
I was 24 years old when I came to the States in 1996.
Did you come just to study?
Technically, yes. I was trying to apply for a student visa in 1996, and I got accepted in Eckerd College, not far from St. Pete. And I came here on an English course, an intensive English course for the summertime. And I came here and I liked the place and I stayed here.
Gotcha.
So that was, that was the first time I came to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you've been here for quite some time. So for the listeners to know, I just want to mention to all of you that Wasim and I, we have met a few days ago, and we sat down just to kind of chat about this interview and what we will be discussing. And as we talked for probably about an hour, I kept on going, oh my gosh, we should talk about this. And then we would talk about something else. And I would have exactly the same reaction because there's so much wisdom in Wasim, so much experience. Well, it's true, right? We really had a good conversation and we touched on so many different points. So this is why I've decided to, instead of choosing one specific topic, I've decided that it's best to ask Wasim what are the keys to being a successful entrepreneur here in the United States if you are an immigrant. So Wasim, what do you think would be some of those things that are very, very important?
Well, I mean, the most important part is, talking about entrepreneur and also, generally speaking, the most important part is you have to have a plan. You know, a lot of people don't have a plan where they're going in life. So you have to have a plan. And when I was overseas, I had a plan that I want to be in the U.S. even when I was 14 years old. You know, I put it between my eyes that one day I'm going to be in the U.S. How? I didn't know how. So that was my plan before even I thought about being an entrepreneur. You just go to the U.S. because the opportunity way much better than my country, I would say. Mm-hmm. So that was the first step. And then I had to execute that plan. And I think about it and how do I get my plan executed correctly and not failing from the first try. I did it. And that was the first thing. So once you have a plan, everything comes easy. The challenges you have to meet, they're not going to be so hard because you have a plan. You have a vision. You know where you're heading. You know what you want to do. I mean, that is the most important part. Then everything comes easy. I know it is tough, and I faced a lot of challenges, but I did not give up. I kept going over and, keep trying until I get where I want. I said, this is the plan. I'm going to be in the U.S. When, how, I did not put the date, but I said, I'm going to have to execute the plan. So the first step, I left Syria. I went to the United Arab Emirates. I was there working. I started getting experience. I was young, 18 years old, didn't know anything. Get a job there, textiles, retail shops. And that's when I start learning about business and entrepreneur. And at the same time, I kept the plan going. And within 4 years, I made sure when I go apply for the visa, I would get accepted, and I sure did when I went there. So that was the plan. It took me like 4 or 5 years to be in the USA. So that was the first plan. The second thing, what I thought is when I landed here, I said, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to finish my education here. I'm going to USF. I'm going to graduate with a master's degree. And within time frame, I put the time frame. I said, within 5 years, I have to graduate. So, and then I said, I want to get a job. And that's when everything started coming back to me and say, okay, what kind of job are you going to get? How are you going to get a job? Where are you going to see yourself in the next 5, 10 years from now? And this is when I start thinking that, in order to really be doing something that you like in life. And I said, I want to have my own business. And that was my plan as well. So it's just like something I had, back in my mind right before I started everything. And I kept going towards my goal.
Okay, so it's almost like the first point of your plan was to come to the U.S., right? And then you work on that.
Yeah.
And then the second one, okay, to be successful, I first have to be educated, so I'm going to school. And then, well, I actually want to be working by myself. So and that's when the plan was unfolding for the next step. It's fascinating, right? Because there was a little bit of flexibility in you, but you also had this determination because you knew that the end result will be your life right now, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, of course, you have to be determined. You have to trust yourself. The problem is, first of all, you have to trust yourself. Once you trust yourself, then you will be able to see a lot of positive things, because, trust and confidence is contagious. Once you tell people like, you want to do it, people like that kind of confidence. So they will drive their energy from that. And as well, they share it with you. So you have to trust yourself first. And then, when you have a goal, when you set up a goal in your life, this is where I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. And then you execute. You have to see all the challenges. And when you see the challenges, you don't tend to the negative around you because a lot of noises start telling me, I'm not going to make it. A lot of people went to the U.S. What are you going to do? Are you going to be like working for a gas station or, getting a job, barely paying your bills? You're better off staying here. I mean, everybody told me that before even I left. Oh, if you get a chance to go to school, no way you will ever go to school. That's what people keep telling me even before I left when I was in Dubai. They said, I don't think, at 24, because you quit school, you've been out of school since 4 years ago, you're going to go back to school. That's crazy. First. Second, I don't think you'll be able to graduate. You're not going to be able even to understand English. That's what they keep telling me every day, all my friends.
So as people are coming at you, right, and they're giving you their own self-doubt, basically, is what they're doing. They're projecting on you their thoughts that would stop them, right? You're not hearing them. What is happening in your mind? It's like, well, I will prove to you, watch me, kind of a thought.
No, actually, exactly. Actually, the more they told me this, the more determined I become, that I'm going to succeed. I drove my energy, and I'm still driving energy from those people, the negative people. I drive my energy from them because they challenge me, and I like somebody who challenged me. And so the more they said I can't do it, I prove them wrong every time. So, I mean, seriously, I'm not talking about only friends, family, everyone else. I mean, say like you're going to a country that you have no idea. It's not your culture. You don't speak the language. What are you going to do? You don't have anybody. Who's going to help you? How are you going to go there? How do you know anybody? Why would you go to Florida? Why Florida? Why St. Pete? Because I was accepted in school. How are you gonna communicate when you land there? Who's gonna take you? Who's gonna pick you up from the airport? So all these questions, they keep saying it to me constantly before even I left, and it was kind of like, you know what? Let me try. Why not just try and I'll tell you later. And the more I push the envelope, I mean, it's easier than what people say. People actually amplify this, make it like so horrific, so scary, when in reality it's not, because you're not going to desert. You're going to a country where you don't see people starving to death on the street. The system will help you. I remember when I landed here, when I went to school, the first time I applied, I went to the school teacher. She was like in the college, and I told her, do you think I can go to school? And she looked at me, she's like, why not? Because everybody told me you cannot go to school. It's hard for you to study different language. And she told me, why not? Why you think like you're different from anyone else? You could do it. Yes, you could do it. And I never forget that statement when she said that. I said, wow, I got 4, GPA all the way until I graduated,
Wow.
So because I applied myself, and I have proof, of my GPA. I finished the first 2 years college, and then I went to USF. Studying marketing, finance, and I didn't know anything about math. My math was horrible, but I was determined to figure it out, and I became very good at math because I learned literally math from scratch. Even though I went to school in Syria, but I wasn't really good in math. I was horrible. So when I get to school, they said in order to pass the classes, you have to take geometry, algebra, derivatives, and I didn't know anything about it. And it was kind of like always mind-boggling for me to understand them. But I was determined to start from zero. And I did really make high grade in every math class because I from scratch. So people keep saying to me that you cannot learn that subject, you cannot understand this because that's above you. And I prove them wrong. Not because I want to prove them wrong, because I tried. All I did try. And all I tell people is try. Just try. See how it goes. What do you get to lose? You got nothing to lose. Just try.
The math that you were studying in Syria and the math you were studying here in the United States, I'm sure it was a different level, right? Because this is university level math. But altogether, like what's coming to my mind is that there was math in Syria and this is math too. And what was different is it was just your attitude. Like you're determined here to understand it, to take it to the very basics. And it's almost like it was a different version of the same human being. The one in Syria was like, math is hard, I can't learn it. The one in the States, I will figure it out.
Yes, and let me just confirm that statement. In Syria, the culture is the pessimist culture. You know, in school, they want to just see how you're going to fail. They just look at you, say, okay, they're going to give you the hardest equation ever, so they see how you fail. And here, the culture is what we can do to help you succeed. That is the culture you have to be in. In Syria, everything, because in Syria, it's a socialized education. So only few people, they can go apply for, medical school if they get higher grade in their high school. So everything is competing to see who's going to fail, not who's going to succeed. Okay. And that is the huge difference between the culture. When the culture surrounding you here, surrounding you in school, they're trying to tell you, you have so many different ways you can succeed. It's not that difficult. Once you live in that kind of environment, you will excel. No doubt about it. I mean, I believe in it 100%. You have to surround yourself with positive people constantly so they can help you succeed. When you are surrounding yourself with negative people, of course you're going to fail because you listen to it constantly.
Yeah, I agree with you, right? So it's fascinating because it's almost like we come from mentally and emotionally, like, because of the history of our countries, from like a lower level, right? But because we grew up there, we are stronger, right? And then you come here and you have a bunch of different challenges that are just thrown at you, and you have to figure out your way through it, and you face it, and you become even stronger because of that. And then as you keep on going and keep on becoming more successful, like when we talked on Monday, you told me, like, I'm just cruising in my life now. Like, it's amazing. Yes. That's what we all should be going after, just cruising, setting up the life in a way where things are manageable. You're very smart about how you manage your time overall, how you're spending your time, your priorities, all of that is in place, right? And you can be cruising.
Yes, absolutely. Once you come here, or if you want to come here and try the culture here, you're going to realize, your opportunities first. You're going to realize how many things you've been told about this country. It's not true. How many things you've been told about this culture, and it's not true. But at the same time, also, don't forget, your culture also made you stronger, because if you made it here, then you're strong. I mean, I remember my friend when he told me, he's like, you Wasim, you're not going to fail. And they were like, why? What do we think? He's like, you're an immigrant. You're not a citizen by birth. You're a citizen by choice. And that's a huge difference. He literally told me this. You're a citizen by choice. You choose to be a citizen here. You weren't born here. So your chances to fail, he said, your chances are a lot less than, the people who were born here, because they take it for granted. So here we go, I mean, people have to think that way. But right now, I would consider Google is the equalizer. The internet is the equalizer, because, give us like equal opportunity to every single person in this country, regardless of your race, your color, your ethnicity, your language. It gives you an equal opportunity. You can do whatever you want to do. Just go on the internet and search how you're going to start business or find a job or whatever you want to do in your life. You have every tool to help you. So you have no excuse. People told me from day one, I told them what I want to do, and they said, yes, you could do it, and that will change. That opened my mind more and more every time I meet people here, and they tell me, why not? And even if you don't speak the language, we're going to teach you, we'll help you. Don't worry, make mistake. And I always tell people, make mistake. Nothing wrong with that. But don't dwell in your mistake. Move on, fix it and move on. But don't think if you made a mistake, it's the end of the world.
Oh, absolutely. So, I 100% agree with you. And, that's the perfectionist in us, right? That it's like, The moment you make a mistake, then something has gone wrong, and now you just need to turn around and completely abandon the goal. Some of us have that very, very strongly within our personality, where we just tend to do that. But you're right. Learn from the mistake, evaluate, and try again. Anything else that you have in your points to succeed? Coming back to the conversation, anything else that you would suggest for our listeners?
Well, I mean, once you have a goal in your life, once you set up a goal in your life, then you put the plan to execute that goal, and then along the way, you have to be, like what I said, you have to be persistent perseverance. You have to have patience. Nothing comes overnight. You have to see the long-term vision. Don't focus on the short term, because a lot of people, they just want to have it now, immediately. It doesn't happen immediately. And most importantly, you have to always spread the positive. You have to be a positive person constantly, so that positive hits you back and it helps you along the way. Stay away from negative people. But the most important part is once you have a goal and you are shooting at that goal, you have to keep going nonstop. And once you make it the top, the most important part, which a lot of people forget, they cannot maintain the top. They just go crazy. Their brain cannot handle that situation. How are you going to not only humble yourself, but how are you going to keep your ground solid? And you have to humble. You have to be approachable. You have to speak to people. You have to always, accept criticism, accept people giving you feedback. Just put in your mind that it might go away in any minute. When you put your mindset that way, every day you wake up, you see it's a blessing, it's a present. It's kind of like, I've been given another chance. Regardless of your situation, you always have to be appreciative, gratitude, and, think about it, it might go away in any minute.
So true. And we forget that death can be just around the corner.
And I always say, once you make it to the top, you have to reach out to those who are, behind you, and you have to help them as well.
Yeah. That's right. Build a legacy. Right? When is your book coming out?
My book?
Yeah. When is it coming out? You should write one. You know that, right?
I should, right? Maybe at the end,
absolutely.
I should write a book. Yeah.
Without a question. As I walked away on Monday, I was like, oh my God, he is just. I mean, look how many people you could inspire. I mean, it's just unbelievable how many
people. I agree.
People,
I mean, make me humble, and I feel like, if I did something, a positive impact on someone, it makes my day, because I would love to see people succeed. I mean, I was always, when I see, the graduation ceremony, I always have tears in my eyes when I see kids, make it to the highest, degree and graduated. It makes me feel good, when people achieve their goal and people, become successful. It makes me feel good.
Is it because you have gone through it, like the studying, and like you had to convince yourself you can be good at math and all of it? It wasn't easy, right? And so you understand the drive that it takes. That's probably it, right? That's why you get emotional.
Also understand the drive, and two, if for nothing, to prove all the naysayers, all the negative people, all the people who always have, a pessimist, idea about life and about success and about school, to tell them, you're on the wrong side of history. You're going down. You're not gonna, if you stay with this kind of attitude, you're on the right side of history, because only the right thing will progress. We can conquer all the fear, and we can conquer all the problem on earth if we just be united and just take care of each other.
Yeah, it starts as one person at a time, though. So if you write a book, here we go. Here is a book from someone who came from the country. And, think about the young men that you could influence that are from Syria and are not seeing a possibility of having a different life, because they are under the same type of a pressure that you have been under, but they don't have that idea of
dictatorship
at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys were communism with Russia, and we were like, we're not far off. We're like, fascism plus communism plus socialism plus dictatorship, all the above, all the above. We went through all of it, and I understand, how people feel. I understand where, every day how they have to, just struggle for everyday life. When I met you, I was like talking to you for a while, because I'm like, I can relate to that story myself. Very much can relate to that story, and I always want to share it. If I can relate to something, I'm always passionate about it.
Well, yeah, it's your life, right? That wisdom, and there's almost like there's that energy built up behind it that wants to be expressed, that wants to be shared, because there are other people out there that are yearning for it. They want to hear it. They want to hear a story of a successful immigrant, because you know what? There's a lot of people out there who are not successful, that are immigrants, that are struggling, that are believing whatever story they brought from back home. Like the thought that you had, I'm not that good at math, that could stand in somebody's way. You chose to change that thought and be like, no, I'll figure it out. I'll learn from the very beginning and I'll figure it out. There's a lot of people who will hold on to their old identity.
Yeah, it just came without, I didn't even think about it, because I remember that when I was growing up, in Syria, school it's dictating. They dictate in the classroom. The teacher dictates. You cannot ask questions. So it made me scared, and I never asked questions. And I thought, really, I'm bad in math. I'm very bad. I'll never succeed. In my high school, I struggled. My math was, maybe I failed in math. And when I hit school here, I look at it like, why it's hard. Let me start from scratch. Maybe I learned something wrong. And literally, when I applied myself 100%, and I want to understand it from scratch, from subtraction and addition, and the more I applied myself, the better I become at it. So it's like, why they told me I suck in math. I'm not good. I'm not good in science. I'm not good in language. I'm not good in anything. It makes me feel like, unworthy of anything. And that puts me down. My self-esteem is gone. I have a low self-esteem. I have less expectation on myself. And that's how, the culture in Syria put me every day. Listen, this country is not perfect, far from perfect. This country has a lot of issues, U.S., but at least this country is evolving. What makes it stronger is it's not a homogeneous society. It is a different people from all walks of life. Your next door is Filipino, next down the street, you're Turkish. So you share your weakness. The weakness is not shareable. Your weakness, his strength, and your strength, his weakness. And that's how we, complement each other. But when you go to a homogeneous society, people share the same mistakes over generation and generation. They all have the same issue. They want to drink tea with 10 spoons of sugar, okay? That's how they've been doing it for the last 100,000 years. And they keep doing it over and over and over again. Nobody challenged the status quo. People don't see that. In this country, my next door is black. My next door is a Jewish, my neighbor is Filipino. This is not, you don't see it in Syria. In Syria, everybody, they grew up, they've been rooted in this city for 100 years. So they share, that's what they say, homogeneous. And when the cell is, has, same problem, always they have a weakness, and that weakness is shareable over the generation. Here in America, our variety, our differences makes it stronger, not weaker, It makes it stronger. Really, it makes this country stronger because everybody from different perspective, different countries.
So tell me, we will be wrapping up, but I would love to know if you're willing to share with the listeners where they can find you, where they can go to check out your restaurant, your businesses.
Yeah, St. Pete downtown, First Gastro Lounge in St. Pete on Beach Drive. It's kind of like a high-end cocktail bar / fine dining. We serve really Mediterranean food, and we have nice cocktails. And we have a good vibe on the weekdays. We have live music every day almost, and then we have a DJ on the weekend. We've been doing business for by now 4 years, and we're doing very good. So if anybody wants to come and visit, welcome. You can't miss it. We have an outside seating area as well, sidewalk cafe as well. It's a sightseeing.
And it's a beautiful place. Yeah, fantastic. Listen, Wasim, your life just shows what happens when a person has a long-term plan and is diligent and does not, you didn't stand in your own way. And I think that your life is just a beautiful proof of what happens when we keep on pushing ourselves forward. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with my listeners. I am sure that there are some young immigrant entrepreneurs out there that need us to hear exactly what you have shared today. And I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for that wisdom. It was such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy that I shared my story with you. I'm so happy that if anybody heard my story and there will be, it has an impact, a positive impact on their life, I would love to hear that. And, with the humility and thank you for, having me. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'm always willing to share and help and support. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, friends. I hope you have enjoyed our conversation and hearing Wasim's story inspired you to keep on excelling in your life. If you are an immigrant, you are already very strong. I'm here to remind you about that and support you on this journey. If you've enjoyed this podcast and would like to hear more, please subscribe to be notified when I upload new episodes and make sure to leave your rating. This is the very beginning of my podcasting journey and your support really matters. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you next time on December 11th. The holiday season is almost here and many of you will be spending it once again without your loved ones. We're going to talk about that. It's not easy. It makes many of us very sad. But we somehow make it work, don't we? We will explore how to make it easier on ourselves so that we actually enjoy the celebrations. Well, have a great day and I will talk to you then. Bye-bye.